And I used to just go by Andrew Marks. That's a shitty stage name.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's really bad, really generic.
But it's more Jewish the way you made it, right?
Way more Jewish. Because like I realized like I don't play Jewish just by looking at me.
Yeah.
So I would tell Jewish jokes and people are like, is this guy an anti-Semite or just a self-hating Jew?
Yeah.
They didn't know, so they would tighten
half,
up.
Right?
Yeah, I'm half Jewish.
Okay.
But
what is the other half?
Just white.
Just white.
Just either English or Scottish or Irish, depending how drunk my grandpa was when he would tell the story.
Okay.
But I grew up around only Jews.
Really?
Yeah, I went to a Jewish preschool, Jewish kindergarten, Jewish
And this
school.
was in
Kansas City.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a suburb called Overland Park. Was like the fourth richest county, Johnson County, in the country when I was growing up there.
Really?
So a ton of Jews. Yeah, people sleep on Overland Park, but like, yeah.
What was the major industry? Farming?
I don't know. Like Sprint moved their campus there.
Okay.
Applebee's had their corporate headquarters there.
Was it tax reasons maybe?
I don't know, man. But all my friends, their dads were like doctors and lawyers, and yeah, they were doing good. And it was just like this super upper crust suburb, and then you would go 10 miles in either direction, and it was just like farmland.
Huh.
So
I've heard of Overland Park.
Yeah.
Why? Here's a question for you.
Shoot.
Since I have you and you're a Jew, it's why do you think
nervous.
so many like comedians are Jewish? Like, what do you think
I think that there is a certain, I'll say, trauma that's inflicted upon us by our parents, and the way that the Old Testament God is kind of beaten into us, that makes us see the world in a, kind of a funny way. We see the comedy in the tragedy that is just all around us.
Okay.
And we don't suffer it. We're like, oh well. And there's this, so there's the Torah, which is the Old Testament. And then there's a bunch of other books. And then in school, we had to learn, there were like 5 or 6 different major commentators, these medieval sages that would write pages and pages and treatises on the books of the Bible, and they would argue with each other. And we had to study all of these different commentators, and the way that they would go back and forth is pretty hilarious. Like, they would argue like, okay, so if you build a wall and a wall falls down and injures your neighbor, who is liable? Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, well, I think you're liable. But no, you're only liable in such and such way. So you're kind of like dissecting these things. And
that's where we got case law from.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of minutia that we're concerned with. And in a lot of cases, like in medieval Europe, we were the only people who were allowed to deal with this stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, it was considered unchristian. Let the Jews handle the money and the law.
Huh.
So here we are.
God damn.
Yeah. So we're rich and neurotic.
Before I forget, if you are watching us on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button, the notifications bell. It's easy. Throw a comment in on why you think so many comedians are Jewish. Whatever. Yeah, exactly. Like, any comments help us with the algorithm. Just do it. But
if we don't like it, we'll censor it. We run the media. It's fine. It's whatever you want to say. We can take it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Initially I thought it was trauma, but I guess like today, like there's a lot of male Jewish comedians.
Sure.
And do you think it's partially has something to do with like expectations of family? And
it's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, like we're really expected to succeed. And, in my family, my brother, he's a doctor. Mm-hmm. And my sister, she's got a master's degree in psychology. And I dropped out of college to fucking do drugs and become a massage therapist. And yeah, it's like in every family, there's going to be someone who has all of those expectations heaped upon them, but all they want to do is fucking do drugs. Mm-hmm. And that was me. And it's like, you get kind of like, oh, okay, well, how am I going to like reconcile this failure? And
was it like you knew that you couldn't meet expectations, so it was sort of what's the point in trying?
So I was a really strong student and really, really smart and got great grades all through high school. But it was my mom kicking my ass to do that stuff.
Okay.
Like I knew that all I wanted to do was smoke weed and lift weights. And then as soon as I like, hey, it's
no, I mean, I never think of potheads being like bodybuilders.
I like to think myself as more of a meathead than a pothead.
Okay.
You've seen Dazed and Confused, right? Those guys were just like smoking weed and lifting weights, or American Beauty.
I just never had the motivation to do that when I was smoking weed. I just wanted to watch Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
When did you get into stand-up?
I got into stand-up would have been like 2012, 2013.
So almost 10, I guess, 10
about
years
10
ago.
years ago. And, this is jumping all over. I've lived like 6 different lives. But I had moved to Atlanta to help my dad start this yogurt business. And after we kind of established ourselves in the market, I was the traveling yogurt salesman.
I don't know why it always makes me laugh when you say it's like yogurt business. Like was it Greek yogurt?
It was Greek yogurt.
Okay.
Yeah. My dad, he started this yogurt brand with only grass-fed milk. I don't know if you know much about the dairy industry, but most cows are fed on corn, which is not a cow's diet, and it changes the chemical properties of the milk.
I didn't know any of this, but
when they eat grass, the milk that they make, it's more easily digestible. It tastes better. It's got a very different mouthfeel. And
how much yogurt were you eating while doing this?
I would go through quarts a week.
Really?
Easy peasy, because I got it for free.
Yeah.
So
and it's healthy.
It's healthy.
It's good for weightlifting and bodybuilding.
And I was at the yogurt factory like some weeks for like 15 hours a day.
Okay.
So like I wasn't leaving. All I could do was eat yogurt.
So did you just have the shits like crazy because it's a probiotic?
No, not really.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
you must have had like the best gut health ever, though.
Oh, super good.
Yeah.
But
what did you put in it, though? Or do you just raw?
I mean, I mostly just ate plain, but we also had, so my dad, he's got a culinary background, so he made these dope flavors. We had like a black cherry with port wine. We had a mango pineapple habanero pepper yogurt. We had a coffee flavor.
So what was your day like? Did you wake up, eat yogurt, lunch yogurt?
So I would wake up at like usually on a work day 4 or 5 in the morning to get ready to do the farmers markets. And then I would go to the yogurt factory, load up vans with the yogurt coolers that I'd prepped the night before. On Saturday on our busy day, I would direct like 5 different teams of people to where they were going, and we would all leave. Then I'd drive out to the farmer's market, set it up, pitch yogurt, and then, come back, unload, and have maybe a couple hours off to recover. And then at night, maybe I would have to like mix yogurt or pull a batch of yogurt out of our kettles. And then, the yogurt, it takes time to culture. You're starting the milk from a pH of about 7 and trying to get it down to 4.5 to acidify it into yogurt. And, sometimes it'd be ready at midnight. Sometimes it'd be ready at 2 in the morning.
Hey, if you like that video, make sure to hit the subscribe button below and follow our page for new weekly content.